Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here for the Glasgow City Council meeting tonight. Let's begin by standing and pledging allegiance to our flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing. Councilman Norris will lead us in our invocation.
Pray with me, please. Father, we are glad today was so much better, warm and nice, and been able to be out. And I think the conversation that we've been having just before the meeting is evidence of it's a brighter day. We give you praise for bringing us through the winter and for the opportunity to be here tonight to share together thoughts and the goodness of what we have from your hands. We praise you, we bless you, guide us and direct us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Freddie. You may be seated. I will ask Clerk Cashin to call the roll, please, ma'am.
Lowry. Here. Barren.
Here.
Bennell.
Present.
Wilkinson. Here. Neal.
Here.
Shoemaker. Here. Norris.
Here.
Trigg. Here. Kirkpatrick. Here.
Thank you all for being here, 100% attendance. We've got business to take care of. The first thing to do is to approve the agenda by which we're going to run through tonight. You got that last week in your packet. I would entertain a motion that we move forward with the agenda as it was presented to you last week.
Motion, Lowry.
Is there a second?
Second, Manu.
Okay, a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on that item? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, like sign. Now, the first item on that approved agenda is to approve the minutes from the meeting we had on January the 29th and enter those into the record.
Motion, Kirkpatrick.
Okay. Second.
Second.
Second from Councilman Neal. Is there any discussion on the minutes before we vote? There being none, all in favor of approving the minutes indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The minutes are approved and in the record for January the 29th. We're going to move forward. I'm really tickled tonight. I asked Wes Billingsley from the Public Works Department, who is in charge of a lot of the activity that goes on over there, including the road department and snow removal and ice removal. And I just really want Wes to stand up here and talk to the folks about how you prepared. And I think that it's one of the unanimous things, much like the vote here, something unanimous was that the city did a really good job of dealing with the snow and the ice and all of those kind of things. And I just felt like that they need to kind of hear from the people who make sure that we're ready when these things happen. Wes, if you don't mind to spend a moment telling us about that.
Yeah, I can do that. First off, I was going to start out by saying that, we was all pretty happy with how the guys kind of handled everything. So starting on Thursday and Friday, we started pre-treating everything for the snow event that was anticipated on hitting on Saturday. So we started brining all of our city streets. In total, the pre-treating resulted in about 13,500 and something gallons of brine. It took estimated 8 tons of salt to make that brine. And then Saturday, with the temperature the way it was and the snow moved in at around 9 in the morning, by 10:30 the road conditions had started to worsen, and by noon to 1 o'clock there was enough that we could start making a difference by pushing. So we started our first shift around 1 p.m. and at this point we're just plowing. We don't have the salt supply that the state has, so we can't. Just when it starts, we can't start throwing salt to it. It's got to stop, and we've got to start fighting it with our salt supplies after post-treatment. We pre-treat with brine so we can wait and post-treat with the salt. So our first crew came in at 1. They worked till midnight. Our second shift went from midnight to noon the next day. During the early morning hours, that second shift, it switched over to rain, and that created chaos, you know. The snowpack turned to ice, and at that point we still had enough slush that we were still plowing and making a difference then. And actually we brought our first crew back in on Sunday. Had a high of 33 and a low of 14, and it was one of them days where it just got colder all day long. By 4:30, it was already down in the teens, and what was left on the road was ice, and we wasn't making a difference until we got some sunlight the next day to help us. So we sent everybody home at 4:30 on Sunday, come back in business as usual on Monday morning. The Monday cruise we put out, we had a high of 14 degrees that day, so, you know, the sunlight was the only thing that helped us. We did start salting at about daylight. No, let me go back here. I wrote that down. We started salting at daylight on Sunday after everything had stopped. So we were plowing and salting at daylight, and we run to about 4:30 that night. And then on Monday we come in business as usual. We did not run our sanitation routes. Our sanitation crew actually went out and cleaned storm drains for what was slush and water had melted, didn't have anywhere to go. So we had some trouble with some flooded roadways there for a little while. And our sanitation crews, while our street department crews was out plowing and salting and using the skid steers and the backhoes, and landfill even had a guy out on their wheel loader trying to help us get some of the ice broke up. And a lot of our aprons coming off state roads were pretty bad, where they're plowing onto us and we're trying to push it out of the way. So the skid steers and the backhoes and the wheel loader, they all helped breaking all that up. Tuesday we come in business as normal. We ran double routes on our sanitation, which kind of put a damper on some of my street crews getting the plows out, and we didn't run as many as the skid steers and backhoe the day on Tuesday. We had to run double garbage, and we run as many plow trucks as we could get out. And this continued on Wednesday. We continued plowing and salting, just normal hours. At this point, the city was passable. We're just trying to widen out the roadways. Thursday, continued plowing and finished up with the plow trucks and the skid steers and the backhoes and the wheel loader around a little after lunch, 1:30 p.m.-ish. At that point, all the trucks come in. We have 6 plow trucks. Now, we averaged 5 of them on the roads at all time. You get them out in this type of weather and it's cold, and that cold, and you're using them the way you are, everything gets brittle. We have several breakdowns. So we average 5 on the road, and that's not the same 5. We get one fixed, it goes back out, and another one comes in. But all in all, we was tickled to death the way the crews kind of were, their ability to stay ahead and maintain the passable street conditions for the city. Our crew total come in without mine and Jim's salary positions. We came in at 151 hours overtime just on this one event. And that's not counting all the regular time that was put into it on the clock. We have the capacity to hold 215 to 225 ton of salt. Now we're estimating that we used 150 ton on this deal. We do have another 150 ton ordered that's supposed to be here this week, but I can't say that it's going to or not. Other than that, that's about all we've got on it. Like I said, we'd just like to thank the guys on how they did. They didn't really want their names in this speech, so I told them we'd talk about them in a good way then. But
It was I was thoroughly. This was a new thing that for me, that we had so much slush clogging up storm drains. So then, whenever it switched over from snow to rain, there was nowhere for the rain to run off into the storm drain, and so anything that was on the road when it got below freezing was freezing. That was really dangerous, Wes.
The crew that we had on Monday, we also had a few come in Sunday afternoon cleaning storm drains as well. We was making progress, but all our progress was sitting out in the road. And it was getting down in the teens. I mean, it was becoming ice pretty quick.
So, from the standpoint of the street department getting ready for this type of weather, do you think that maybe the planning ahead maybe helped to where it wasn't nearly as catastrophic this time?
I don't really think this time it helped as much as people want to believe, just for the simple fact that when it turned to rain and then when it got down so cold that fast,
Yeah.
the brine wasn't supporting anything after the rain come through.
Well, you know, there's a lot of, and everybody's got problems, but there's been a number of cities that have been kind of taking it on the chin for how that they didn't get it cleaned off as quickly as what people thought. And these are some pretty big cities that, I guess what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't matter how many people you have doing it, you can't conquer it because you're going against Mother Nature no matter what.
Me and Jim's talked about it several times. We both pretty much agree that our saving grace was going around the clock the first day.
Yeah.
If we hadn't been able to get that far ahead of it, I don't think we'd have caught up. So.
Well, does anybody here on the council have a question for Wes? He knows, he lives it every day.
Wes, I'd just say that, congratulations, I guess would be the way to say that, and really congratulations on you and Jim and the whole crew making things happen. But would ask you, what resources do we need to look at employing for future events like this that we don't have today? We need trucks, we need more snow plows, we need more, what do we need?
Salt goes a long way.
Okay.
The states always look like they're ahead of us because the whole time they're out, they're putting salt out. And, their first pass, they make a road look like it has already been scraped and, it's all melted off. Normally, that's just from the outside looking in on our aspect. We tend to have to wait just to be able to have enough salt to get through one event. We anticipated this was going to take all of ours, but we come out. I would say that we have a little over 75 ton left in that bay, but that's just an estimation.
Do we need more capacity to hold the salt?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we need more
We've only
capacity to hold
got
salt.
capacity to hold around 210 to 225.
Okay. But can we get to a point where we can have more capacity, another bigger bin, more
It would
bins?
take a different location. I mean, to give you a standpoint, I've got some friends at the state, and they said that their dome will hold, I think, 10,000 tons. We've got 250 ton, so.
Wes, good job,
Thank
like
you.
everybody is saying. The question I have is that I was asked the most, when you're scraping and then the ice and stuff goes into people's driveways, and then at that point they can't, it becomes more of a problem that they can handle. What word of advice do you have for those folks? Because I told them we felt the roads were the priority. Your driveway is your driveway. So do you have any words of advice or recommendations for anybody out there?
We're not going to make everybody happy, and we've come to that kind of understanding. If they'll put out the effort to keep their driveway cleaned out, we'll put out the effort to keep the roadways passable.
That's a good point. And the conversation between Wes and Terry, we are way past capacity at the Department of Public Works. We don't have enough room to store the equipment we have, much less to mix enough brine to do, even if we had more salt, we don't have anywhere to mix it. So one of the things this council is going to have to do is to be thinking about how are we going to maintain these roads with the facility that's so small over there at Department of Public Works. Just something to think about.
You said you guys kind of went back and thought about it, reflected. Was there anything besides more salt and having anything else that you would say maybe we should have done this or something that you might have, after kind of going back and thinking about it?
Going back and thinking about it, and like if we had the salt, we'd have probably started putting it on sooner, but the way it started raining, I don't know that it wouldn't have washed it off and made a bigger mess. At that time where the water didn't have anywhere to go. And
You had plenty of employees.
Oh,
You
yes.
said you're working around the clock, so
yeah,
you,
Friday afternoon, I kind of went through it with everybody, to see who wanted to work nights and who wanted to work days. And the sanitation routes being canceled on Monday, it really helped.
do those are they cross, I mean, I'm thinking cross-train people if you needed people.
Yeah. Well, most of our sanitation drivers started on the street department side,
Okay.
so
So
they all had
cross-trained.
experience, but we haven't had to use them to run any plow trucks.
You said you had 6, is that right? 6?
We've got 6 trucks, yeah. We had six on the first night crew, 6 on the first day crew. We had a couple trucks go down in the meantime. I sent some of them home so they get a little extra sleep, so.
I don't know anything about I'm sorry, was you done?
I was just going to say, I think you did a good job, too. Yeah, I wish I could have got out of my driveway. I understand, though. It's got to go somewhere, and I'd rather the streets be out fixed than my driveway.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll ever come up with a solution on the driveway issue.
So y'all salt, does it have brine already in it, or is it like regular salt?
It's just regular salt.
So
Now,
do you think if you had the salt with the brine already in it would go a long way?
we
than-
have the calcium
Calcium.
tanks, but we don't have any calcium, and I'm afraid of running our salt brine through them and clogging everything up, because they're not set up like our actual brine outfits are.
So I know that the regular salt with the brine already in it is better than the regular salt. It'll go a long way. So will that be something we could try or think about for the city?
It could be. Our salt boxes that have the calcium setups on them have never been used. I don't know what kind of problem we're going to run into on getting them going.
Well, so you can get the salt already treated, pre-treated.
I don't know that we can afford to do that.
Gotcha.
Well, it's not that y'all were competing with anybody, but people that I was talking to in Bowling Green said y'all did a lot better job than Bowling Green. But, yeah.
I don't really know what to say about it other than, our guys got out and they stayed out doing what they were supposed to be doing the whole time.
Appreciate your
they were
work.
out.
Appreciate your work.
We was pretty happy with all of them.
Yes, a few years ago, we talked about you guys were going to have the dual usage trucks where you could convert, was it the trailer beds and you put the one box container in the back that had salt? Those are the ones, did y'all utilize that system, I guess?
Yes, that's all we have is the V-Box now. We don't have any of the bed salters, I guess. We don't put any of the salt directly in the bed of the dump trucks. That kind of helps save on the life of them as well. The salt boxes, those V-Boxes are all stainless, and so we don't have to worry about them rusting out.
I don't know anything about this brine or salt or anything, or where you store it, if it's down here on Front Street or whatever. Is there not a place at the landfill that could allot you some room?
I'm sure we can come up with some room somewhere. Building the structure, if it sits out in the rain, it sets up like concrete, so it's got to be under roof somewhere, enclosed.
All right. Good discussion. Good presentation, Wes. And everybody knocked it out of the park without question.
They did good.
Thank you very much for being here and giving us a good, complete report. All right, let's continue moving forward. We have some new business to tend to here tonight. Rich?
First item is a resolution amending the composition of the Plaza Theater Advisory Board and reappointing board members. That whereas pursuant to resolution number 1051, which was adopted on September 13th of 2004, the City of Glasgow established the Plaza Theater Advisory Board, which was originally composed of 8 members, 3 of which were ex officio members, and with the other 5 members serving staggered terms. Whereas over the years the terms of office have gotten out of sync and there is now only 1 ex officio member currently on the board. Whereas in order to address the inconsistencies in the composition of the board and to simplify the reappointment of board members in the future, it is advisable to amend the Plaza Theater Advisory Board composition. Now therefore, in light of the foregoing recitals, be it hereby resolved by the City of Glasgow as follows. Section 1, City Resolution number 1051, adopted September 13th, 2004, shall be and hereby is amended such that henceforth the Plaza Theater Advisory Board shall be composed of 8 members, 5 of which shall be members at large, all 3 serving 3-year terms, 2 of which shall be council members who shall serve during his or her term of office, and 1 member shall be an ex officio non-voting member with no term of office, but serving at the pleasure of the mayor. The mayor shall appoint all members subject to the approval of the City Council. Section 2, the initial board members pursuant to this amended resolution shall be as follows. Holly Alexander, 3-year term, effective February 1 of this year. Vicki Bartley, 3-year term, same effective date. Jessica Wells, 3-year term, same effective date. Cody Meek, 3-year term, same effective date. Jerry Ralston, 3-year term, same effective date. The 2 council member appointments are Chastity Lowry and Elizabeth Shoemaker, serving during their term of office. And Charlie Goodman, a local attorney here in town, he is the ex officio member at this time, and he would be reappointed in that same position. Adopted the 9th day of February, 2026.
All right, you have heard the reading of this resolution that deals with the board membership of the Plaza Theater Board. I will entertain a motion that we bring this on the floor for consideration.
Motion.
Councilman Neal, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on this particular item? There being no discussion, it's a voice vote. All those in favor of approving this resolution indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Resolution carries.
Next item is a resolution for the city to make an application for a grant administered through the Kentucky Pride Fund. Be it hereby resolved by the City of Glasgow that April Russell, grant writer for the City of Glasgow, shall be and hereby is authorized and directed to make an application on behalf of the city for a grant in the amount of $15,000 administered through the Kentucky Pride Fund Household Hazardous Waste Management, which will be used, if received, for the purpose of funding the City of Glasgow hosting a Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day for the residents of Barren County. This is an 80-20 in-kind matching grant, and the applicant shall provide match funding of the total cost of the project, or $3,750 if received. The amount of the total project would then be $18,750. Be it further resolved by the city that Mayor Royce is authorized and directed to execute all documents necessary to make this grant application.
All right, you've heard the first reading of this resolution. We have been successful getting this grant in the past, and it seems to be something the community takes advantage of and looks forward to. So I would entertain a motion to approve of this resolution.
Motion, Bunnell.
Is there a second?
Second, Lowry.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we want to discuss this at all? Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The resolution is passed. We have notification of several executive orders that have been signed. Attorney Alexander, do we need just to encourage the council to look over this, and we will consider these at the next council meeting?
No, there's a resolution that has on the books that says that updates to the Glasgow Police Department Standard Procedures Manual can be amended by executive order. It does not require any council approval. So this is just for information purposes, and I think Danielle said copies are available at City Hall for review? Ms.
Yes, they were sent to them electronically. You have all of these in your email, or you can come by my office if you want to see them. They're there too.
Okay, so be sure and look those over. It helps to kind of understand what particular parts of these policies are being amended, and we have enough people who understand it who could answer questions about it, even in this room. All right, with that being said, I would entertain a motion that we adjourn.
Motion.
From Councilman Deal. Second.
Second.
Okay, from Councilman Burris. Any discussion? Thank you all for being here. We are adjourned.